Hello and welcome to another video with me, Winter Andrew, with another video of Weekly Andrew, in which I think I'm just going to go ahead and get straight to anime this week. Yeah. Edomae Elf, or Otaku Elf, which is one anime I'm talking about this week, which I literally just threw together shortly. Honestly, didn't really think I was going to have much to talk about, but I kind of managed to get decent bits, I feel like. Yeah. Just starting off here. It's basically just a wholesome slice of life lemonade, to be honest. Also comedy, I guess. Yeah, gets random Japanese history lessons from throughout every episode. So that's something. Get history in it, and so it's a bit educational. Weird, but hey, it's nice. And also, the anime very clearly has some sponsors, mainly Red Bull. Don't really know if I can really point out any others, but Red Bull is definitely a sponsor, considering, especially when you just look at the ending for the anime. It's just like Red Bull's all over that darn thing. Yeah, just things with the anime that I kind of just want to talk about. Overall, kind of. Yeah. Episode 5, I think it was. The first half, Koito gave Elda a phone. Yeah. I think it's a good thing Elda only really used it for messaging. Considering if she discovered gotcha games, yeah, that would have been the end of things right there. Or just mobile games in general, to be honest. Just not just gotcha games. And really, when it comes to games, yeah. Elda does play games. I did notice, considering Koito didn't mention that, but I don't think we've actually really seen Elda actually playing games at all yet. Which I honestly feel is a bit weird, considering she plays games, but I don't think we've really seen her playing games. It's just weird. Yeah. Eldona finally got to games or mobile games in general before she kinda stopped using the phone is a very good thing, I think. Especially for Koito. So, yeah. And I really don't have anything else to talk about. Seriously, I think I need to go back to kind of trying to write notes for things to talk about after watching episodes instead of basically waiting until the day before I record. Because, yeah, if I wait till the day before I record, it's kind of this. I don't really have anything. Yeah. To contrast that, played Lessons in Love, did the version 30 for it. Took me over 12 hours to play, darn they. Get through all the content in this update. And due to that, by the time I got done with it, I was kind of just like, what was on this update again? So I basically used the wikis, went to the wiki and used the synopsis for the events to help me write down notes for things in this update. And yeah, I think I have like 3 times the amount of notes I normally do, purely because I use the synopsis for events on the wiki to help me. Yeah. Version 30. 4 events for Noriko, 4 for Molly, 3 for Kirin, Maya, Chika, Sara, Yuki, and Tsubasa. And this is first update in quite a while with no main events, so things are a bit chaotic when it comes to order of things, so yeah. Kind of had to go from one character to another and stuff, so yeah, just going in the order I did things. Starting off with one of Maya's events, in which, yeah, you go see Maya at the shrine, and Ayane is also there because she's apparently been following Maya around quite a bit and's gotten quite attached to Maya, and just interested in what she's doing all the time. Yeah, during that event, you end up having a bit of a little talk about how you're all going to be going forward with things after the whole fail test when it comes to Yumi and Tsuneyo with the previous reset. So, yeah, that was basically what that event was. Don't really have much in the way of plans, I think. Yeah. Next thing, you go spend time with Chika, in which during that you basically learn that Shinami's sickness has basically been cured thanks to the reset. So yeah, that's a good thing about the reset, I guess. You don't have to deal with the sicknesses or anything. And also the scarves that chick is putting up on display there. Sensei notices that those are the same ones that I got for Ami and Maya back on Christmas, or the first Christmas I think it was. So yeah, that's apparently been reset something, or now there's duplicates of those scarves because of the reset. Weird. And while Sensei and Chica are leaving, they are kind of talking about other places that Chica could work, and they end up running into Taneo, which kind of leads to Sensei suggesting Chica working at the maid cafe because, and yeah, might end up being a thing in the future. Chica working at the maid cafe. So yeah, maybe at some point in the future. Who knows? But yeah, next thing is Yuki's events. In which Sensei goes to hang out with Yuki and immediately kind of tries to start making moves on her. You really don't know what's going on there. But yeah. Ends up ends up getting interrupted by Yumi showing up there. And yeah. A short bit of talking that was going on there while Yumi was around. Pair kind of learned that Yumi has basically lost the memories of things when it comes to the reset. And from what I can tell, has also had her memories just changed in general, because apparently when it comes to whole getting back into school after being suspended, there was no more heartfelt speech that was the thing previously. That's completely gone now, and it was just that Yumi got back in thanks to Chika and Makoto. Yeah, weird. Changing things that much. But yeah, Sensei and Yuki go outside and leave Yumi alone, basically. To basically leave Yumi alone. And Yuki ends up asking Sensei about what actually happened between Yumi and Dodeka, in which Sensei repeats his answer. But yeah, they end up getting interrupted by Imani, so yeah. Another thing there. Apparently Yuki and Imani are neighbors. So yeah, I guess that's a bit of a thing there. Eh, not that important I guess, but it's a thing. But to finish things off for Yuki here, Sensei goes to Sarah's bar, and gets pulled into helping Yuki get something for Sarah, and ends up riding on the back of Yuki's motorcycle, during which he ended up getting a long bit of a rant from Yuki about the ridiculousness of people labeling themselves due to how others view them, basically. Bit of a good rant, but yeah, guess that's just character development for Yuki more than anything. But when they get back, Sarah brings Sensei upstairs to have a conversation, which basically boils down to Sarah wanting Sensei to watch over Sana. But Sensei ends up backing out again. And yeah, it's a blackout in one of those situations. So, while that's going on, Yuki ends up coming upstairs and sees that Sarah has been literally fucked unconscious. And immediately pulls Sensei off of her and basically chokes him unconscious. But after all that's been settled, Sensei and Sarah eventually get back to having that conversation again, in which Sarah explains that she understands everything that happened there because she's apparently experienced it herself before with the whole blackouts and stuff. So, yeah. And that's apparently the reason why she wants Sensei to look after Sana, because apparently that started to happen to her as well. So, yeah, Sensei's apparently not the only one that's been having all these seeing all the weird crap in the world. Apparently, Sayada and now Sana are dealing with it as well, which is weird. It's like, why? Especially with them. It's like, come on, why them? Yeah. Next thing, Noriko Sensei goes to talk to Noriko and tell her how he basically remembers his name now, which Noriko never even realized they forgot, and also tells her about what happened between him and Nikki in the previous update. And yeah, that events there basically leads to Sensei saying that he'll invite Noriko over soon to kind of do things, and I considering Noriko's kind of getting tired of waiting for that and stuff. But yeah, before you can actually get around to actually doing that, you have to talk to Maya as well, and also finish Kirin's events in this update. So, yeah, next thing I did was go to Maya, talk to her, have that same kind of conversation with her about Sensei telling her that she remembers his name and everything, thanks to Nikki. And also, they finally get around to actually talking about what happened on the beach, in which Maya's kind of backed off on all that and doesn't really want to really do anything that could possibly end up destroying Sensei. Reasonable, I guess. But she is willing to do things after confirming that it won't break what and however the worlds you would confirm that in the first place. Seriously don't know how they would possibly confirm that, but she's willing to wait until they've confirmed it. So yeah, but she does say that tells Sensei that he can still try to catch her off guard with a kiss. So yeah, to be honest, I'd imagine that's probably what's going to eventually happen. But yeah, it's probably a ways away. And also, one thing when it comes to this event with Maya is that this event gives Maya 100 affection points. Yeah, 100 affection points. So currently, I now currently have Maya with 145 more affection points than required for anything at this point. And just think, Nikki started off with 50 affection points. I still haven't really had to do anything at all, considering the maximum amount of affection points required for her for anything at this point is 20, when you started at 50. So yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to have to touch Maya's affection points for quite a while now. And next thing though, for all Molly's events, where Sensei shows up at Koi Cafe after it's closed, and basically mentions the whole rush hour kind of thing that Molly had to deal with in the previous update, with a bunch of tourists showing up for whatever reason, in which that basically prompts Haruka to invite her and Sensei out for dinner as a reward for Molly's hard work. So, yeah. During it at dinner, Haruka kind of questions Molly's relationship with Sensei, and kind of saying that he's like the next in line for her heart or whatever. In which Molly retorts and saying that there isn't a queue for her heart and that she isn't some Sims character that's flirting with everyone that's in sight. Nice retort, but still. After the dinner, of course, as expected, Sensei and Molly have to drag Haruka home because she's drunk. In which Sensei doesn't really help out at all, considering, yeah. Sensei kind of has a bit of a history when it comes to being around people that are drunk. And it's not a good history. So for once, he is actually kind of being smart and staying away from that. But after Molly puts Haruka to bed, she kind of actually tells Sensei that she does love him, and also kind of starts putting some moves on Sensei, in which he kind of tries to push her away before he just gets up and leaves. And then in the morning, Molly just calls Sensei and invites him out to help her shop for cosplay. No, she doesn't actually tell him that what's going on until he gets there, so. But, yeah. She just wants him to help out with the zippers and bows, apparently. But, yeah. One very unique thing happens during this. Sensei's there, of course, helping Molly out with the stuff. But while she is changing, Sensei is actually just looking away, not looking at her. But then again, he's basically not been really looking at her at all lately. Cause, yeah, I honestly have no fucking idea. I honestly don't understand the whole thing going on when it comes to Sensei and comes to Molly. I really don't. But, yeah. Sensei eventually leaves after getting uncomfortable. And, but that's after telling her that he still needs more time before he actually feels comfortable around her again. So, yeah. It all goes back to that Halloween. That was 2 years ago, I think, at this point. Yeah. All the way back to that. And what happens there? Still dealing with crap here. The relationship between Sensei and Molly still hasn't really been repaired. Though Molly clearly wants to get things fixed. But yeah, Sensei has problems. Apparently, for some reason. But yeah, that's Molly's stuff done. So, Chica again. Sensei goes over to ask Chica if she's basically done anything when it comes to getting a good job at a maid cafe. She hasn't. But when he gets over to Chica, he kind of finds Tsubasa and Tsukasa there, in which he just basically stays around at that point, considering he just lets Chica continue the conversation that she was having with Tsubasa, which basically is just Chica talking about her mother, kind of giving backstory for all that. And after that story's over, Tsubasa asks Chica and Shinami to move into the manor with her, in which Chica refuses, because who in the world would possibly want to live and move from a shack to a manor for free? But when leaving, Tsubasa gives Sensei a ride home, but first wants to check out the apartment that Toka gave him. That's just more so she can have a discussion with Sensei and end up coming up with a plan on how to invite Chica to the apartment instead, and which is just Sensei inviting her there and stuff. But yeah, that's finished for now. Short event I'm just going to quickly gloss over, to be honest, which is Chica's final event, where Sensei goes to Chica's dorm room and she ends up bringing up giving him a threesome as a Christmas present, basically. Considering the options and the fact that I don't think there's really any consequences for that choices there, I don't think that's actually going to happen, but yeah. Next thing, Sensei runs into Kirin and spends some time with her at the arcade, in which during that Sensei kind of somehow gets Kirin to actually admit her feelings for him, in which upon realizing that she just basically went on a date with Sensei, she wants to have another date so she can actually dress up and stuff. And the next day, they end up going on that date. And what Skittering does look pretty good, to be honest. But, yeah. During the whole days there, Sensei kind of bring up how the relationships change between them and how what she's currently doing is basically breaking the whole agreement she had with Noriko. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure that date there kind of marks the official beginning of the relationship between Kirin and Sensei. I think that's you can say that's the official start to it now. But, yeah. That'll be the end of Kirin's events there, so at this point I was finally able to do Noriko's event, continue that stuff. So yeah, Sensei invites Noriko over to get and things start off as they would there, kind of, and everything. But they get interrupted by Ami. And we get to see quite a bit more of Ami's yandere side. Oh boy. And things eventually got to the point where Ami ends up blowing Sensei while Nordica was hiding in the closet, which exposed the whole relationship he has with Ami to Nordico. So, yeah. Sensei ends up getting Ami to leave and go to the store, but considering what she was doing when she was leaving, I'm pretty sure she knew someone was in the closet. Considering the whole looking at the closet and asking if she should get 2 or 3 bentos. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she knew someone was in there and was basically just letting them off after starting dominance or something. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure she knew. But yeah, after that stuff of there, Noriko is of course a bit emotionally scarred after learning the whole relationship between Sensei and Ami, and ends up just asking him why he keeps prioritizing others over her. Yeah, that's totally a normal thing to question. Why isn't he prioritizing you over them instead? But then again, she already knows that he's basically doing all this stuff in the first place. She just didn't think it was that bad. But, yeah. Whole talk there at the end. For the whole talk there kind of leads to Nordico telling him that any kind of obligation he thinks he owes Ami is fake, kind of, and that if she hears Ami talking the way down onto Sensei the way she was during all that's there, she's going to do something herself. So now time for the rest of Subasa's events, and yeah, Subasa Sensei runs into Subasa and Wakana, and after a short conversation, Sensei and Tsubasa leave next and start having a discussion themselves there, in which Tsubasa tells Sensei the whole plan to move Chica into the apartment's ready and he just needs to invite her and everything. In which, one thing to kind of point out here is the fact that Sensei is not exactly completely supportive of this whole plan, and does argue with her a little bit there. And during that, Tsubasa's kind of giving off quite a bit of elitism, I guess, with the whole thing saying like most people aren't smart enough to make their own decisions. Yeah, rich people kind of stuff, you know? But, yeah. At the very least, Tsubasa is manipulative in a good way. Yeah. But the whole conversation there between Sensei and Tsubasa basically ends with Tsubasa asking Sensei about himself, and he, as normal, pretty much says there isn't really anything interesting about him. Which Tsubasa basically just decides that's like, okay, sure, I'm just going to look into your background myself. So, next event, after Tsubasa's gone and looked into his background, she invites him over for a meeting, in which she's kind of wondering how he's actually ended up how he is, considering his past was actually pretty good. He was actually a good teacher and everything. So, yeah. Considering what she was talking about there and stuff she knew, but apparently didn't know, I'm kind of wondering, was there nothing, did she not find anything about Saki or anything there? Because I'd honestly kind of find that's a bit weird if there wasn't anything. Unless her whole background check was literally Sensei only, completely ignore anyone around him. Which I guess is possible. But the whole meeting go was actually basically just so she could ask him to teach Tsukasa, teach, and also basically saying that she is planning to have Tsukasa and Toka move into the apartment as well, in which she brings in Tsukasa, and when she hears that what she's planning to move her to the apartment, she basically just goes and storms off. And what Sensei explains to Tsubasa is because as Tsukasa is lonely and not getting enough attention from her. And it's the same situation when it comes to Toka, but to a lesser degree. So Tsubasa ends up puts all the plans on hold until she kind of deals with that problem. So, yeah. Yes, typical rich people problems, I guess. But now, final event for Maya, in which Sensei is walking home together with Ayane, Ami, and Maya, but one major difference around this time is the fact that it is raining. Seriously, how many times has it fucking rained in this darn game so far? I don't even think it's even a handful yet. Yeah. But they end up spotting Kaori, just standing out in the rain, in which she ends up in bringing them to the diner that she's currently working at. And they all get something to eat. Aine starts talking about the apocalypse to Ami, despite the fact that Maya doesn't want to get Ami involved. And during all of this, Maya's getting completely ignored by Kaori. And really, I don't think Kaori ever even acknowledged Maya's existence in this event, which is a bit weird, considering I'm pretty sure she did acknowledge Ayane and Ami and obviously Sensei. But I don't think she ever acknowledged Maya. It's just a bit weird. Is it like Kaori can't see Maya or something, considering this is the first encounter for them. First time they've seen each other. But yeah, considering how weird Kaori is, I wouldn't rule weird stuff like that out. And also, weird thing with this event is the fact that this required Noriko's event to be finished where you invited her and stuff. And generally, when it comes to events that require other events to be done, I kind of think it's like something in that event requires is somewhat relevant as some kind of importance in this event. So, going through that event there, what exactly was it during that event that was important enough for it to be a requirement for this event? Because the only thing I can think of is Zombie. But she really wasn't the focus at all. She was just to the side, talking to Ayane. But yeah, I personally think Ami might know more than we think, especially more than Sensei thinks. But yeah, that is everything for Lessons in Love. Took absolutely forever talking about all that stuff. But yeah, got that stuff done. And yeah, I think this video is already long enough, as is already. But yeah, I really can't think of anything else to talk about, so I guess I'll just go ahead and end the episode here. So yeah, that's there is in this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.